everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. This is going to be day 6 of 31 Days of Strange, where I show decks, movies, music, and just things I use in my practice and my witchcraft, or things of that, just overall, that makes me me and strange for the 31 Days of Strange for October. So this, as is mentioned, is day 6. So, thanks for watching and tuning in, whether you are a subscriber, you're new here, or you're just passing through. I hope you are enjoying these so far. I know I am. I am pre-filming them, but I am enjoying that. October is great for so many reasons, and of course, a great time just for the magic macabre for someone like myself, and to feel so connected to the change of the earth and the cycles. So today, I will be doing or featuring a deck. One of my many decks in my collection. Many of them are a bit of a dark or macabre nature and a bit strange. That is me. I love the bit of strange and unusual, therefore my moniker, of course. So with that being said, this deck is the Gothic Tarot. There is others out there with this name, but this is the one by Joseph Fargo. So I'm going to just show the guidebook real quick first. As you can see here, this guidebook does not come with the deck. This is purchased separately. I know when I got it, it was like $15 or something on Amazon. I don't know if it's the same. I know the deck is mass market and really cheap. Together and separately, there's still a price of a reasonable mass market deck, if need be. So like as you can see in here, just to give an example, you get an image, black and white image of the card, and you do actually get not only a meaning of the card, but you get a little bit more, you get a lot more in depth, and you actually get history behind the image that was chosen for this. Now, Joseph Fargo is kind of like a comic artist and known for dark imagery and things like that. How I was turned on to him was, I believe, late 90s, give or take, and it's either my late teens, early 20s, and the store's still around, store Spencer's Gifts. If you know it, yeah. It was fun, and it was one of the cool, like, alternative type of stores that sell all sorts of alternative and kitschy and campy things, and fun and alternative. They're still around, and they've gotten a little bit more back in that nature versus what they were years ago. So yeah, kind of going cyclical in their nature too. So I had a calendar. Of course, I was always attracted. I've always loved horror movies, scary stories, growing up on there. My father watched them, so that's how I was turned on to the horror movies and macabre, the black and white films, the Universal films especially. But also growing up as a kid in the 80s and then the 90s, there was a lot of that alternative and macabre and underlying nature. So that kind of shaped me and my interest, and therefore it's just more and more in this life. And of course my husband and I go to horror conventions. We enjoy horror movies. We have friends that are in that. We're collectors. And yeah, every day is Halloween. And honestly, 99% of what we watch on our own, meaning movie related at least, is of a horror, scary, paranormal, or macabre nature. So no surprise. So no surprise that my decks and my practice fall into that or are interlinked. The magic and the mundane are married in that aspect of my interest. So that guidebook again, Joseph Fargo. So I had a calendar and I found it and I loved it. And particularly it was the Emperor. The particular depiction in this deck was one of the calendar images, as were others for the Emperor. Now again, it's more of his artwork being applied to the tarot, so some do apply, some do not. My major complaint with this deck is that the cardstock sucks. It is... It warped like literally days within to getting it. But I'm probably replanning in the future to getting a backup one. Here is the backing of that. The nice black and red, two of my favorite colors, of course. If you watch any of my previous videos, you'll see that, including the red walls in my witchy altar room. is red. So yeah, and of course black. Yeah. So with that being said here, I'm going to show some cards on that. Again, a very reasonable deck. Great for this type of thing as we're heading on the cusp. We're already into October. So this actually, the spooky dark season, this deck is very otherworldly, cemetery. Something you would encounter going into a cemetery with vampires and specters and spirits lurking in death. And what lies beyond the veil, that which is a bit creepy and unseen and uncertain, or just that life can exist after death in that aspect. And of course goes with the type of music I have. So some of these go with that type of things, or things you would find in books about vampires, or stories, or that you would find if you were walking towards or passing a cemetery at night. Or letting your imagination run free and rampant. But again, if this is not your cup of tea, turn back now. A lot of these ones do have a lot of that, definitely vampiric, dark angelic energy, and just spooky. Colors are primarily black and blue, and the writing's red. So, I'm going to show some of those here. So the starter. Let me just do this. Otherwise, I'll probably drop them and make a mess. Nine of Cups. And this has a lot of underworld energy. So, of course, if you watch any of my previous videos, I work a lot, extremely a lot with my foundations are working with underworld deities and death magic, birth, death, birth, living, death, and rebirth. And the nature of it in the human aspect and the magical aspect. But again, for various reasons I've explained, this deck definitely is one of my favorites. I like that you do use intuitively and with the guidebook. Guidebook is well written, and that was written by someone else, another Joseph. Some of this is very pippish. I'm not a huge fan of pip decks, but they do apply to the nature on that. And I've learned to embrace the more pips style of tarot in my readings. Now that is one of my favorite cards. I have many in here, just to go back to that. See, the pippish, of course, on there. But these are things that I would expect that you find in the cemetery, on graves or mausoleums, that type of thing. This is one of my favorites on here, too. Look at this Five of Wands. Very like Nosferatu, which is one of my favorite classic movies, of course. I'm not going to go through every card here, but just to show. I mean, look at this Lovers. The Kiss of Death. One of my favorite cards. This is one of my birth cards, Justice. So, I'm pleased with that. Let me find a couple others on here. I don't want these to be too long. Of course. This deck reminds me very much of, if you watch my most recent ones, for the 31 Days of Strrange that I opened up with for the Love You to Death song by Typo Negative. I love this card. This is one of the ones I was looking for. This is the Five of Cups, one of my favorite ever depictions of the Five of Cups. To that Eight of Wands. see here. I like the moon. It's got that classic 90s artwork aesthetic. Grab a few others. It's a very good, clear, easy reader, to be honest. If you get over, let's look at this hermit. Now, if you are one that has to have, it's got a lot related to the Rider-Waite in certain things, but again, the imagery was applied more to the tarot and wasn't made for the tarot deck specifically, but a lot of it does apply and does work. But it is a good, clear, easy reader. I use it all year round, honestly. If you watch way back in my videos, I used it for my birth month for January. This is my favorite card in the deck. I love this chariot. Reminds me of the chariots and reminds me of the carriages and all the old macabre, old black and white movies and things like that were in movies like that were from in Transylvania, like for example for Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is one of my favorite ones on there, and those the old carriages, the horse and carriages with a sort of creepy driver of it. What a great chariot. Here's my frenemy, the Tower. Beautiful and haunting, but a classic type of depiction of the tower, but I do love it. I love this one. See, this speaks to me, my aesthetic, my 90s teen darkness, the horror, the beauty, the colors, and the underworld. So if you're looking for a deck to use during the spooky season right now, or maybe in the darker halves of the month, or you are a horror fan and collector, this deck is definitely a recommendation out of mine. I actually, out of my collection, like I said, I use it all year round. And again, my only complaint with that is honestly the card stack. That's it. So if I was to rate this deck, you know, just overall and recommend it, I honestly, for overall out of favorites, I would give it about an 8.5 out of 10. Only, I'd probably give it a 9 if it wasn't for the card stack. But this is just me and my aesthetic and my opinion. To each their own. We all have different things and artwork that speaks to us. That's what the tarot is meant to do. It's meant to evoke feelings, thought, provocation, and how to see different perspective and realities and apply them to the magic and the mundane and our experience in this day-to-day life. So if you have this deck, let me know below, or what you think of it, or if you have any opinions on this, or if you do end up getting this deck, or do use it any time of the year, or especially during spooky season. So again, I thank you for watching this. I hope you're enjoying this and this review of this deck by Joseph Virgo, the Gothic Tarot on this, and this being day 6 of the 31 Days of Strange for October. And if you made it this far, please put a skull below on it for creepy goth stuff. And again, please like, comment, and subscribe as it helps my channel grow. And again, stay spooky.